Good evening. I'm sure you will both agree that as Chief Minister, you will be responsible for your various departments. At the present time, the various departments are laws unto themselves. They put down their own laws, they don't communicate with each other. And I'll give you two examples. Take planning, for example, first. You're both interested in climate change and believe that floods will be coming. In Ramsey, there is a flood protection scheme going forward around the harbour. And yet, planning has been applied for on floodland. It's denoted as a floodplain. Now, floodplains in earlier years, to my knowledge, were there to take surplus water and distribute it. If you fill it up with concrete, the water can't go anywhere. That won't help climate change at all. Personally, I think that should be outlawed, that no building will be allowed on floodplains, brownfield sites and different matter. Also with planning, I believe the law in the Isle of Man states that if there are no fences between boundaries of just a mound, the legal boundary is the top of the centre of the mound. Now, I personally have a case going on at the moment where a person in Clebain Drive has extended her fence over a metre into my land. I only heard about it.
Maybe we should get too micro on this one, if you don't mind. Just keep. There's lots going in that question. Is that all right? Rather than getting down to just a personal issue. Is that all right? Ask the general answer to what you're saying. You were saying the rogue, all the different departments a bit sort of doing their own thing, wasn't it? And then you got into planning. So there's two sort of things in there, yeah.
No. The planners, the next door neighbour said to me, the person has got planning permission and gave me the number. When I phoned up the planning department, and I said, how come I wasn't notified when somebody puts a fence on my land? The answer was, civil matter, contact a lawyer.
Right.
And that's all I could get out of it. Now, on the second point, is on the two. The second point is the two departments with the registry office in government for limited companies and the Attorney General's office who deal with charities. Now, years ago when Eddie Keir was Treasurer Minister, I wrote to this here and said, why don't you use a copy of the Form 9 when you have a change of director for the company to be delivered to the company's registry who want the same information under Schedule 3 but in a different format. And to his credit, Mr. Tier put, and it was on the government website, highlighted in yellow, that the Form 9 in company's registry can be used for the charities registry.
What's the point? What's the question?
The point is that a few months ago, when I sent a copy to the Attorney General's for a registered charity, it was refused because the email address and the telephone number wasn't on.
Okay, that's quite a lot to get there.
First of all, I mean, you know, it is vital that government listens to these issues and does react. But can I just pick up on the ethos of your first point about the Chief Minister's relationship with his ministers? Well, the Chief Minister does not have actually the ability to tell ministers what to do. Ministers have a legal power of their own, and they are the department. The only way that a Chief Minister can instruct a minister is by if there is a problem and they wish to direct a minister to undertake a policy, is by Council of Ministers vote. So we do have effectively what you might call safeguards built into the political system whereby ministers are given responsibility for departments. But the critical thing is, and this is where it does go wrong on a number of occasions and has gone wrong, is that ministers have either just been left to get on with things when departments have been failing or when projects have been failing, or other members of council have failed to potentially grasp the initiative, or the Chief Minister has failed to grasp the initiative. I do think that Some of these issues need to be ironed out. The Chief Minister, of course, has the power to hire and fire ministers, so it does have that ultimate sanction in that respect. But I think we do need to make a real effort now with collective political will to improve our coordination across government. I think this can be enhanced by using a policy and strategy unit in the centre of government with the collective will from everybody around the council table, but also I hope with the collective will from those who are in outlying boards and other government departments to work together with a supported island plan to deliver on the policy, but also to be accountable to that unit and be accountable to the Chief Minister in terms of how things are going, and also be willing to work together to shape changes in direction. I also think that this can be enhanced by, as I said in my outline speech, by ministers coming to Tynwald, alongside the usual scrutiny, but coming to Tynwald at least annually with their progress reports for their departments and allowing a public scrutiny process to take place on the major issues of the day and their performance. So there is a lot of work to be done. But when you get down to the type of nitty-gritty issues that you're talking about, government has also got to have a can-do attitude. Too often, I think people are coming to the government, they're explaining their experiences, and they're not being listened to properly. So partly that is a real culture issue that needs to change within government, and something that I think can be driven from the top.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a number of points there. Just talking about intergovernmentally working, I think it's far more important to make sure that you share resources, share budgets for that outcome. So if there's things like we're talking about housing, poverty, it's not just one department, that encompasses a whole range of departments. So we need to pull those resources, look at the way that the various coding committees work to make sure that they've got the backing there. In terms of planning, there's been quite a lot of work done by this Tynwald in terms of adverse possession and some of the inadequacies of the current system, whereby people can do land grabs, and as long as there's not a line on the map, they can succeed. You're also talking about a lack of planning enforcement. That's something that has been raised with DEFRA on several occasions to get the right resources there, so people can respond while building is going ahead, rather than wait far too late and just let them do it retrospectively. And also in terms of resourcing, in terms of protecting our national heritage, there is a secret list of buildings that should be listed but aren't listed until they're bought and they're started to be redeveloped, and then they're listed as historical. That's bonkers. I mean, on an island with our history, we should have the resources to say what needs to be saved and what can be redeveloped, rather than use this arbitrary system with a secret list, which nobody will publish in case it's acted upon. So there's a whole range of things there which I think we need to put the resources in to make the planning process fit for purpose.
I'm conscious that it's 22 already. How many people got questions? Just we have to go faster, won't we? We will have to whiz around.